Here we go. Right. Hello, a very good morning to you. Oh, don't we just love Mercury Retrograde? Don't we just love it? Anyway, here we are, Cafe Clairvoyance, live at last. And what can I say, but how the hell are you? Are you guys well out there? Lovely to see you, and let's crack on with the show. And first of all, I think we need to go and do a little bit of this. Well, hello, very good morning to you all, and I hope you're having a lovely day. We're all prepared to go everything just right, and then all of a sudden Mercury Retrograde just says here, no, not yet, not yet. So we're a little bit delayed, but never mind, there you are. You look fabulous, by the way. You look absolutely wonderful. Yes. And also here, just saying who's coming in this morning, we've got Joe Gardner saying good morning. We also got Debs Harris coming in to say good morning. A lovely morning to you guys too. And see all you other guys coming up in just a moment. So today, what have we got on the show today? Well, loads to tell you because, well, it always is, isn't there? It's always busy out there, really, isn't it? It's I know sometimes it's still down here, but it's busy up there and everywhere around us in the ether and things like this. We just need to decode it all and help ourselves function in this lovely world that we're in. Okay, right. Debs Harris says shared. Thank you so much. Numerologically, today is an 8-day energy, so it's a day of enhancing your power. Sound good? Oh, I think it does. I think you've got some qualities about you there, which I think, yeah, you're awesome. You're absolutely awesome. In fact, I think here that you ought to go and do things today that really spoil you. Maybe you need to give yourself a self hug, or even approach others for a hug of social distancing. So it may be a social distancing hug. Yeah, like we're doing this. Whatever. Maybe whatever's going on there. But we're sending out loads of love to you guys anyway. We are well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joe, for asking. And I think here I better go and find out where my good friend Guiomar is and see how she's doing this morning. Jay says good morning. A very good morning to you, Jay. And Susanna says hi, Debbie. It's all happening, isn't it? It's all happening out there. Let's go for it. So, let's go and find out if my good friend Guiomar is out there. Let's go have a little look. Ah, there she is. There she is. Let's bring her on. The wonderful Guiomar. Now, look at you. Don't you look good? Very sunny looking over there.
It is.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Beautiful day. Yes. I didn't tell you how warm it is down here, guys, for you guys up in the UK, because I gather you've got a little bit of snow. And yes.
I love snow.
Yes, you love snow. You can have snow, but not down my end. You can have it up your end. Okay, so actually, it's nice. It's nice having a little
Good
bit.
for hemorrhoids.
Yes, that's right. It was nice having it every now and then, isn't it? Anyway, so we got loads going on at the moment, and we out there. There is, I believe, Shanira says good morning. Good morning to you too, and yes, lovely. Now. There's quite a lot going on out there at the moment, isn't there? We've got a new moon coming up, haven't we?
Yeah, it's a good new moon for manifesting.
Yeah, I think so too.
For intentioning, sorry.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's. I think it is. As we're chatting away, talk about moons. We've also got Debs Harris saying it's blooming cold. Yes. Oh dear. It's Luton as well, Phil. Okay, right. It's all happening down there, isn't it? Anyway, so yes, we've got this new moon. So so Aquarium new moons. I love these particular energies because I think they're pretty strong in a sense here. You have got the rebellious side of Aquarius, but you also got that making things new energy as well, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, well, it's a sign that, don't forget, it's ruled by Saturn. So there's a lot of Aquarius that is very Capricornian. So to be able to really transcend the Capricornian part of Aquarius, one has to really learn not to be so dependent on what other people think about him or her,
Okay.
because otherwise you're being more Capricorn than an Aquarian. Because being
Okay.
rebellious, rebelling against what? Rebelling against the system. So it's not really bringing in the new. It's trying to crash the old. But you know what happens when that happens? No, is that the new that comes in by rebellion usually turns up being older than the old.
Older than the old. I like that. I like that. It's interesting. I was actually doing a live yesterday and I was looking at this new moon and seeing, yeah, there is that way that maybe it is about letting go of the past around us, harnessing the new with the new moon, but going with the tide of change. The tide of change and embracing what's new, looking forward to see what new things we could do. Um, for
Yeah.
yes, go on.
Yeah, but it's like the energies now, you really have to balance things out very well because okay, so it's a bit about going with the flow, but not too much.
Hmm.
Okay, because if you go with the flow, then the tsunami is just gonna go and wipe you out.
Yep.
And you don't want to go with the flow with the tsunami, right?
No.
You
No.
do
Not a
want to know how
tsunami.
to
No.
surf a
None of that.
tsunami. You know how to surf a tsunami, then you can have the best surfing wave of your life, but you don't want to go with the flow. Can you see the difference?
Yes. 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 There is a.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. The difference between the two. It's looking for the opportunities that take you ahead, like enhancing an opportunity, or even looking for the signs. If you look at Celestine prophecy, law of attraction, working with how we can go forward and embracing what's ahead, not taking what's behind. Although there is some stuff you take behind.
Yeah, but once you become connected to what's ahead, to your vision, you can't stay there all the time either. You got to come back into yourself and be
Yes.
more present. Because if
Yes.
you're all the time foreseeing the future, you're never in the present, so you're never
Ah,
really
yes, absolutely.
materializing.
Absolutely.
You can be an ideologist, but you're not a materializer.
I love all this. I love all this stuff here. Ideology, not materializer. And it's interesting here when we start talking about the past, sometimes we're always harnessing on the past. Then we're always talking about the future. And it's interesting sometimes when I've actually worked with people and listened to people, what they're saying. Why? Sorry
Mercury
about that. I
retrograde.
do not know what is going on here. This is nuts.
It's
Sorry.
Mercury retrograde.
It's all got
It's
a bit wonky this morning. Never mind. Right. Sorry about that. Anyway,
no, but seriously, that's what's okay. We'll talk about Mercury retrograde again.
oh, I think
Again.
we need to because it was a show I was on the tinkering on the edge this morning, thinking, is this going to go ahead or not? Because the
Yeah.
circle was just going round and round and round. Anyway, yes. So as I'm going to say there, I think this is one of the things I actually work with people quite a lot is they look towards their future. And sometimes maybe it's in a direction, maybe it's in front of them, to left or to the right, wherever it is. Somebody look at their past, maybe that's behind them, and I say, where's your present? And the where present is in a circle right around me right now. I say, so this is amazing. So your future up there, how big is it? They often say, oh, it's huge. It goes just off into the distance. And the past, where is it behind you? Massive thing behind me. So why are we existing in a present in such a small space?
Yeah.
But when we could
Exactly.
make it huge, we could make it ultra big, it would look awesome. Awesome. And if we did that, wow, all sorts of
Exactly.
opportunities await.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting thing in posture wise. You know, there's in osteopathy and physiotherapy, there's this thing called muscle
Yes.
chains.
Yes.
Um, so different muscle change correspond to different attitudes in life. So when we're all the time in the future and thinking, our head goes forward,
Mm-hmm.
right? So and even the whole body goes forward. And so your feet are like this, and your and the toes of your feet are in claws because you're so leaned forward. You need the grip.
Yep.
Okay. So that would make your feet hurt.
Yeah.
Like because it inflames the fascia and the ankle muscle gets contracted and the fascia gets
This is
inflamed.
interesting. Yes.
So your feet hurt. So that would be a sign that you're too much in the future and not bringing that into your present.
this is so interesting, isn't it? Because when I first of all went on stage to go and do things, I was doing just that. I was leaning forwards. And a lot of stage professionals said to me, they said, do you realise you're doing this? And I said, no. And I said, you're actually leaning forwards. He said, what it's a sign of is you're trying to reach out to the audience. Reach out to the audience, but it doesn't look right. It looks like you're leaning forwards to engage them, like your energy is going out there to connect with them
Yeah,
and then bring it back. And I said, that's interesting. They said, but if you stood upright, you're in your own space. And it is very
exactly.
true. You're in your own energy. You're in your own self. And that's a big thing. Even when you're having a dispute with someone and you're getting a point over it, it's interesting how we act as well, isn't it? Because sometimes we go backwards, in which case we're almost like going to a place of safety, almost like
Yeah,
and
you
we're
slouch,
crouching down.
you crouch, you slouch, then you're making yourself little and you're trying to find comfort in the past, but actually it's worse back
Yeah.
there.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And also here it's interesting when you see children, especially, even animals that do this, they go like this, like they're tucking their head in
Yeah.
to protect their
That's another
body.
that's another muscle chain. There's a muscle chain that makes your whole body twist this way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think you're seeing me the other way. No, you're seeing me the right way. Yeah. So the right hand goes like this. It
Yes.
twists this way. And the finger goes inside the palm.
Now that's an
It's
interesting
another
one.
muscle chain. The
In
people who do that are very meticulous and very focused on the detail, but it's like they're motivated by a need to survive.
Yes, yes. There's about 4 times in your life that you probably do that naturally. One is when you're born. You will see a baby with their fingers because they've just come into the world. This is like the self. In palmistry, this is the self. It's Venus, but it's the self,
Right, yeah.
and that's but so you're protecting yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So this attitude of protection. So I mean, I'm exaggerating, but the body does go like that. So the elbow rotates inward, like people who work a lot in details, like, I don't know, watchmaker, somebody who's in the computer all day, right? So they tend to close up and go like that.
very very true. Very true. The other time you do this is when you die. A lot of people, when they're dying, they do that. The other time you do this is when you have an electric shock.
Oh,
If you
interesting.
Yes, if you do it. Now, if you go and put your fingers in a socket and try that, you'll see it does it automatically. Automatically. Bzz, oh, yes. So you'll find your. No, don't try that at home. Please don't. And the other one is when you're scared. When you're very scared, you often do that. And you find people who have a lot of emotional or they stand back a lot have that. But it's interesting when you have a dispute with someone, even when you're out there, guys. Venetia says, "Wow, so interesting, so interesting. Good, glad you find it interesting. I love all this stuff." And body language is a huge thing. And is it?
Yeah,
But when you're having an argument with someone, if you're standing in your own power and you're standing in your own self, there, it's not easy. It's not easy then to win that argument by body language alone.
yeah.
Mm. If you start doing this, then that person picks up that they're winning. Yes. If you're
Yep,
coming
yep,
too far forwards, it's too aggressive.
yep.
Someone's
Or
aggressive.
too needy. Or too needy.
You're too neat. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
if the whole trunk and head go forward, it's aggressive, right? But if it's just the if it's just this, then it's too needy.
I agree. I agree. Very interesting morning. Very interesting morning. Talk about body language and things like this. And it's also it's interesting here. Here's one of the things which, if you're thinking about something, say for instance you finish a sentence, you're doing a talk on something. This is interesting body language, and you watch this with news readers, and it's so engaging. It's quite interesting to watch it when you know what it is, and that is if you're talking about a subject and you are thinking about the next subject or what it is you need to talk about. Um,
Bill, I somebody calling me. Do you mind if
no,
I
no,
send
I'll
this?
take you off just for a second. As soon as you come back, I will. It all happens today, doesn't it? It all happens. So as soon as Guiomar's back in a minute, we'll do so. But here's one of the things here. You'll find it is so interesting, but it looks like a sign of intelligence, but it actually is a sign you're actually thinking about what you're going to say. So, for instance, you're having a subject, you're having a conversation, and then you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say. but there's a time lapse because you're thinking, I'm just going to recall this. And one thing that people do, and you'll find news people do it, or people who are saying things, is they just tap their fingers together like this. So sometimes you just do that business. My friend Guiomar's back, so I better bring back on now. Whoever it is has been told to go, or she's exterminated them.
It's
One
it's
of
the
them.
mailman with an Amazon parcel.
Oh no, you don't want to exterminate him. No. But yeah, it's interesting. Just tapping your fingers like this, where sometimes when you're talking to people, you only do it very lightly indeed. But it looks like you're so in control. But really, you're thinking, what's the next subject I've got to talk about? What's the next line? It's almost like
I think
an
it's
actor or an actress, or like you're doing a newsreel and suddenly the newsreel drops. You're thinking, damn, what's the next line? But it's good when you sort of do this. You're thinking, okay. And today we're going to take a little break. So see you tomorrow.
that sounds like, I don't know, the how do you say, the Godfather, or Goebbels, Hitler's Goebbels. It's like,
Yes, but it's all body language, but it's the way of thinking. But it looks like you're in control. It is
in a
like that. But you watch a lot of news people do it.
in a psychopathic way.
Yes, yeah, and sometimes they're actually using their hands like this, and they're putting their hands together. Or they're when you used to watch Trump, he was like this, like this.
That's
So
a
he's yes, it's almost like to the infinite detail. I know exactly what's going on. You got Obama doing the big hug, so his hands were like open like this. But a lot of politicians do that. It's like what you don't, what they're putting forward is, oh, we're so in control. We know exactly what's going on. But what you can't see is this side, like this. God, what is going on?
Exactly.
What is
Exactly. Lots of
happening?
times politicians do that.
So it's interesting, but it's just interesting the way sometimes we use that body language. It's also interesting watching IQs. IQ as
Yeah.
well, because if you're recalling something, normally you'll look up and to the left, like you're calling something. Oh, how was your last holiday? Oh, yes, good. If you're inventing something, you'll look up and go to the right. Yes, yes. So, where were you last night? For example, it's like say, looking up to the right. Oh, I was at home watching TV. Yeah, you're lying. Yeah. So it's just interesting with body language, and it's interesting when your eyes go side to side. When you think and you go side to side here, you're looking at your ears, so you're very much focused on what you're hearing at that time, or you like to listen to words rather than visualize. Yes. Oh, yes, says Deborah, coming through our cover clothes. Brilliant. And yeah, so so it's interesting. And sometimes when we're looking down to our hearts or down to the ground. So we're picking up emotion, feeling.
Yeah.
And the greatest
Nice.
thing is you'll find, it's interesting when you find a lot of people who are lost in their thoughts often look down. People are looking for inspiration, like to look up. I like this. It says, Cheryl said, especially my bosses.
Which one?
Oh dear.
It must be this one.
They're probably doing that one. We're in full control. Yes, we know exactly what's going on. They go, oh, dear, no, we're not. Oh dear. Jay Jones says he's loving this. Yes. And it's interesting. And sometimes it's always good to use because 90, actually I would say at least 60% of how we come across to people is not words. It's not words at all. It is your body language. Especially if you're standing in front of someone. Yeah. Spend my life looking up. That's good. That's good. And actually, Jay is not short. She is quite tall, so she's not a short person. So this is
When somebody gazes upwards normally as a posture, that has to do with the person that's always like in the future, planning, seeing where to go. But you can get you can end up being a workaholic when you do that.
Yeah.
That's when I say that, and then the sole of your feet will hurt, especially when you wake up in the morning. So if that happens, it's like a sign to, okay, lean back, step on the whole sole of your feet, use your heels too, because there's not enough weight on the heels, and learn to lean back more if that happens.
Very interesting. I love all the comments coming through. This is lovely. Okay, Venetia says, I wonder if I look at my ears when interpreting. Possibly if you're auditory. And a way to work out if you're more auditory is to ask a question. When, for example, you visualize your best friend talking to you, or you see your best friend, do you see them or hear them? Do you hear their voice? Do you focus on their voice first of all, or do you focus on what they look like? And that's something interesting here.
You know
God,
what
my
I found so
feet always
Phil,
hurt.
Phil, when we did the course with you, the mediumship course with you, that we fathomed if we were visual, if we were auditory or kinesthetic or whatever. And then one of the exercises had to do with being more tactile, right? It was
Yes,
like grabbing an object. You had to grab
yes,
an object and get feelings. So I always had identified myself with being more visual.
yeah.
And then I found out that I wasn't as visual as I thought, that I was more, I think it was more auditory. But then when we got to that exercise, it just went like, wow, I'm more tactile. And
And
I
it's,
didn't know it.
yes, well, we often think we are one way and we're not, we are something else. But here's the nutty thing. Sometimes in your time period you're going through, depending on what's going on, you'll suddenly find that you'll then become something else. It can change a little bit, but normally your core will be visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. And it's interesting because auditory, no matter if we are visual, auditory will kick in very quickly when we hear a song.
Yeah.
Immediately you'll go straight into the kinesthetic, and that will pick up a time and a feeling of that particular era.
Okay. Hmm.
Like, okay, Elton John, I'm Still Standing. What were you doing at that particular time? It's
If you
sometimes,
listen to it. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it's quite interesting, isn't it? As soon as we think about songs like that, especially him dancing on the beach, doing I'm Still Standing, I think is in Marseille or Nice, I think it was when we recorded that. And what were you doing that time? I remember where I was. I think it's about 1984, 85. Yes. Yes. Okay, yes. Deborah says, Lol, you are a body language expert by now, Cheryl. Because Cheryl says here, just come bring that back up there. My job involves reading body language, minds, and a little bit of. Yes, because it's interesting. As soon as someone walks through the door, you're picking up their mood straight away by their body language. If they're coming in, if they're like relaxed, or if they're how it's not just expression on their faces, it's what their hands and their bodies doing. That's interesting, isn't it? Hmm.
Mm.
Okay.
The
We've also got another one here. Venetia Colton says that I interpret for deaf blind. Oh wow! Hey, this is hey, cool. This is so cool. I interpret to deaf blind, so listen to others speaking. Would love to learn more about this, but I think I am visual when giving directions to a place. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Venetia, what the information that is very interesting comes from Metziers and Godelief, who are physiotherapists, but they started researching the muscle change and seeing the correlations with behavior. Um, and there other people have derived theories on top of that work, which is very interesting. I'm doing a degree, but
Yeah.
it's Spanish. It's so if you know Spanish, if I can pass the information on to you if you want. Just give me a PM and that, and yeah, and I
Okay.
can
Lovely.
pass you the
Okay.
info. Hmm.
Brilliant. This is so interesting. Charlie Banks says, "Hello, good morning, Charlie Banks." And if you noticed, she was on last week on the grounded video playing the drums. A bit of cozy pow going on there, I think. Yes. As she says, "Oh, my brother is an interpreter for deaf too. I think you people are awesome. I think you people are lovely to be able to have skills like that.
Hmm.
Which just shows communication is communication. It's not just what we say; it's how we can use our hands." And it's interesting. I was actually working with a lady who does working like this for working for the deaf and the sign language they were doing, and how easy it is to when you listen and watch it, how easy it is to then catch on about language through interpretation like that. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Okay, right. Venetia just says here that she says, "Oh, hang on, that jumped then." So good. Sorry about that.
That's
Richard,
beautiful,
just
Alicia.
done end of life care interpreting for a deaf. Oh, bless you. Bless your
Nice.
cotton socks. Aren't you lovely?
Yep.
Yeah, and
Good.
yes, because it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you leave something, the way someone cares for you at that last bit before you go, I think is whether we believe in this or not, is a nice memory before we go. Before we pop our clocks, that someone there is doing something for us. It's lovely. Okay, right. Venetia says yes, please, to the information you just given there. So she says yes, please. She'd love to hear from that. And we're also saying here, I feel like a tree, and the branches are my feelers. Yeah, it's interesting because our fingers have huge senses, and we are saying out there that we have three consciousnesses. Three consciousnesses is yes. We've got the head is one conscious, the heart is the other, the third one is the gut. Is the gut, because a huge one with the guts. Imagine here when you get butterflies about things, or you're feeling a bit awkward about a situation, or you're talking to someone and you get an odd feeling in your gut. Your barometer is telling you pull away, pull away. Or if it's a nice feeling, it's like, ooh, draw towards. Anyway, but the other one, the fourth one, of course it is. It's in your hands, and that's a huge concept, because as soon as you shake someone's hand, you're going to get a vibration straight away. Handshaking, by the way, was invented by the Romans. Bless them. Yes, just to let you know. It goes back that far. Yes.
Okay, so Mercury retrograde is doing funny things now.
It is. It's doing all sorts of funny things. And the Roman times goes back to about buildings and stuff like this. And areas like Stonehenge, which goes back to, which is pre-Roman even before then. And
it's way pre-Roman.
Stonehenge
is like 8,000 years old or something like that.
Oh, I think it's older than that. People are saying now historic goes even more.
Yeah, but the foundation is older.
Yes.
So the newer part, it's about 5,000, 6,000 years old. The part that the tall monoliths, that's about 5,000 years old.
It's interesting because they're Sarsen stones that came down from Wales. Of all places, but they're saying they didn't know how they got them across the Bristol Channel in England, but which led to believe around that time there was no Bristol Channel; it was still land. And as I say, it goes back to 8,000 BC, and BC meaning before cement. Good. Okay, we're about 11:30 in the morning. So 11:30 here over here. And I think Mercury retrograde. Come on, let's have a chat about Mercury retrograde and new moon. Come on, we've got to do that. Since it's clocking everything up this morning.
I think if we know that Mercury is retrograde, we know that the show is going to start 2 or 3 minutes later. We know that I'm not going to be there on time. We know that things are not going to work. So you just relax about it. It's about just being calmer and more thinking more about things and what's important for you and what isn't, filtering things out. So that Mercury works more like a Virgo than a Gemini, right? Because Mercury rules both. But Gemini is more lively and quick and whereas Virgo is more conscientious and mindful of details and all that. So Mercury retrograde is more Virgo, I would say.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And it's interesting when it's doing this at a particular time, what it's affecting, and it's in the side of electronics and everything to do with computers, and so hence it's doing funnies at the moment, and especially people having problems with FB. I'm not going to say any more than FB, and I know the producer would have words there. Yes, and I know that protective text goes AWOL, and I think this is what Charlie Banks is trying to express as well. She says, "Boom, tissue shush." Yes, I think that definitely is a Mercury retrograde.
Mercury retrograde, yeah.
There's a fine example. Okay, right. Okay,
so that's why it's time to reel in the vision.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So lots of Aquarius energy. I don't know how many planets in Aquarius, but 5 or 6. I don't know. If you count asteroids, it's more. So it's like so much vision. Right now it's 6 planets in Aquarius. That's a lot. Like it's from 5 degrees to 21. Like it's just everything is in there, and so.
And then we've got Mars and Uranus in Taurus. Yes, causing chaos.
which are connected to those planets, and Uranus rules Aquarius, so it's all very electrical, right? So it's
Yes.
also very visionary, especially with Jupiter being in Aquarius. That's a very visionary combination, right? And Jupiter is, well, it's linked to Venus. It's very close to Mercury retrograde, so it'll get a little bit closer even, right? So that Mercury is like saying, oh, Jupiter, wait, I want to get back here. I want to see, what are you picking up on? It looks really cool because you're there with Venus. It must be fun. What is it? Oh, wow, that is so cool. I want that. Let's do it. Let's make it. And it's like Uranus and Mars and Taurus go, yeah, but you got to bring this down here to these 3Ds, because now you got to do it on your own, because before you could have the idea and you could give it to somebody else, and then some big guy in a big company could do the idea for you, but now you got to do it yourself. So that means
Yes.
you got to be more grounded yourself, because we're not clinging on to other people, because we're individuals now. We're not part of a hierarchy.
Now that's interesting about grounding. Very interesting about grounding, because last week we put on a video there which was about grounding with several people doing things, showing grounding exercises. So guys, we've already got some videos for next week, but everyone out there, if you'd like a reading, anything like this, which includes Sarah Kay, includes Susanna, includes Venetia, and Charlie, you've already done yours, thank you very much. Oh, Guiomar, was that your one on the bike? Is that your version of grounding? I'm going to put that up there. It's almost like the end of a show or something. I put that on the very last bit. It's like, oh, goodbye. Yes, and because guys, we need to see you grounding, what you're doing to ground there. And it's interesting because Taurus rules land. And you've got Uranus there changing land, borders, things like this. What's all in the news? All about borders and how things are stopping, changing, and issues are not moving on. And Uranus is in Taurus for a very long time.
Yeah, and
However,
also Uranus is in Taurus. It's at 7 degrees, so Mars has already separated 10 degrees from that, and in between is Lilith. But that combination, all that energy of new information in Taurus, the
yep.
physical material stuff, right? That's what's causing all this. Like, we've got a lot of wind here. There's volcanoes that go into eruption, earthquakes that have been going on in South America, et cetera, and other places, I think. So it's all this movement of land and things. It's like things that you thought
Oh,
were
yes.
physical
Yeah.
down. That's part of this energy.
I
That's just
think
the
I
natural part.
yes. I agree. Actually, I think it's land shifting and changing how we're planning with all this. I think it's a huge thing. And the other thing I was going to say as well with this, I thought was interesting, is that I wonder actually, because Taurus is also a sign of beauty, it also has a link to music. That fashion, music, and things like this are going to change quite a lot. But also watching computers, music, beauty, things like this, how we're going to see social media, TikTok, all these particular platforms, Periscope, all those sort of things change
But
and bring in more people doing new things because it's a
mm,
revolution of new media which are going to start coming in, and that's going to be
mm,
so interesting over the next sort of few years. And
yeah, yeah.
we know science was proved, but this is going to accelerate a lot, quite a thing.
And also, that combination has to do with changing, like changing the perspective that we have on what is tactile,
Mm.
or connecting with sensations, physical sensations, more than we are, because in truth, human beings are quite disconnected. So what we feel, our emotions, are things created from our mind, by our mind, and not the physical sensations per se. Normally, I mean, I see so many people with bodies that go like, your body is so twisted, you must be in pain, and they don't feel anything. That's how disconnected they are.
Yeah.
So it's like really connecting to the sensations in the body, and not the stuff that's, all this mental monkey mind chatter that keeps you so occupied that you're not aware of what's going on inside your body.
I think that's a big thing. And I was actually watching and coming on the show on the 26th, Friday the 26th, is Kelly Leaning. She does a lot to do with Reiki and healing, and she's doing a show at the moment. And one of the things that she's doing is working with the energy and where the energy is in the body and what to release. and it works at this particular time. It's so important. I think that we need to listen to our body, where discomfort is, how we feel, where it is, and what we can do to release it or change it or work with it, wherever it is.
And yeah, and it's also about feeling at a distance, that
Mm,
combination. So, for example, feeling
yes.
at a distance, or moving, even moving energy at a distance, Taurus, Scorpio axis. So, for example, distance healing. Distance healing has also become more and more powerful. Like I have a friend, Liz, a common friend, Liz Nagel.
Yes.
She does biomagnetism. She does long, distance calls. She's so good, and it's so effective. I notice it much more than many physical therapies.
Do you know what? I agree with you, and I actually find it more interesting. I'm glad everybody's, but I think people are going to agree that they actually enjoy this as well. That sometimes doing a reading over the internet is has its real positives, big positives, compared to reading someone who's in front of you.
Yeah,
No,
totally. I
I
agree
thoroughly
completely.
enjoy it.
Like I can even do sort of like shamanic work online. It's like suddenly you get into the person, and you shift their energy, and you see stuff from their past, and you can feel it in your body. But as soon as you connect, you disconnect. Whereas when you're physically there, it's much more difficult for me to disconnect. I get lost in it.
I agree. I agree. And sometimes you need that bit of space. It's a wonderful thing. But you could do hypnosis now over the internet. You could do so many different things, and it works. Kelly has kindly made a crystal grid for me to help and send healing for my chest infection. Yes, Deb at the minute is
Nice.
unfortunately suffering with that. And oh dear, yes. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting here. Going back to Stonehenge, that there are lots of hinges around the world. This is what Deborah is saying as well. And one of the things, yes, there it is. There, the hinges can be found everywhere in the world. They certainly can be. And whether they were places of worship, whether they were astrological grids, which the earliest computer was Stonehenge, although the first astrological computer was actually built by the Greeks when they and also the Greeks were also important for their Olympics. They invented the Olympics, yes. And we're all pulling up Kelly Leany now. Yeah, you're getting all excited now because she's coming on the 26th. Good. And it's interesting. I wonder if tobacco companies were formed near the hinges. A chap called Benson and Hinges. He probably was one of the first people to invent that. Yes. Okay. Anyway, I think we need to do a little bit of this. Okay, right. We're now going to get on to some readings for you guys out there who sent in details before. Deborah says here that she is. I've been appreciative of all the healing that she's been sent, and it's so lovely. So you guys, thank you very much for sending healing to her. Healing thoughts? Thoughts are powerful things. When we send nice things out to people, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful energy. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, right. Thank you very much to everybody who's written in so far this morning. I wanted a reading. People are saying here, yes, Kelly is so talented. Lovely, lovely. Okay, right. Okay. Okay, right. Let's have a little look here. So we've got Lisa Morgan who comes up first of all. Lisa Morgan, good morning. I know you're out there somewhere because I saw your little post there. And just how are you? I hope you're well. Enjoy your morning. I'm just looking for you quickly because I saw you there earlier. Not to worry, it's going to come up. There you are. Good. Right, Lisa, you wrote in and you said here that you like a general reading. We also got your details there. Jesus there. So thank you very much for those. And also, just wanted to say here as well that there is on your energy here, you've got a 369, a 369 for it's almost like the music, isn't it? 369 da 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 da. Anyway, right. So the three part of right. Okay. Yeah, we Cafe Clairvoyance says do. Okay, do we have a scammer? Yes, we do. Do we have a scammer? If so, please click on their name and block them. It's Awo Ni Ifa Soto. So, right, okay. So basically, guys, if you see them, just block them. Okay. Lisa, so first of all, what I'd like to say to you here is this 9 energy. It's always about caring for other people. It's always about how to, is like you're here as a function to help people. It's also, though, what it is you need to take for yourself in this particular life path that you're on, about things that you're letting go of and things that you need to enhance for yourself. What makes you grow? What makes you grow? Just like the flowers grow in the garden. What is it that makes you grow? Your 3 parts here is very much about learning, communication, and actually working with people on what the common ground is between you both. That's important, and I know we can say that about most relationships, but it's definitely important here of what is needs for you, because sometimes some of us are quite happy to be on our Jackie Jones and just be happy, peaceful in life. For you, may not be so. Your 6th energy here is very much, again, it's about keeping people blessed, happy, comfortable in your environment, and bringing out beauty as well. Bring out beauty, the arts, beauty, and things like this. Your personal year, well, you're in a 2-0 year. That's interesting here. It's sensitive. It's a sensitive year because it's about working with people, understanding people. How the best way sometimes a 2-0 energy functions is in a relationship of some kind, because they then bring out the subconscious thoughts of relationships, which sometimes we like it and sometimes we don't. We don't like those energies because it makes us very sensitive, very rational. So if you're going through particular times which are challenging you, Lisa, then in a funny way, they're supposed to. They're supposed to, because it brings out things here for you to deal with or to understand more. So wouldn't fight against it. I would go with it. And yes, so that's what I would say there too. So guys, it's a very nice. It's sometimes a sensitive time, but we learn, especially through a very. I guess here you've got this Aquarian Taurus stuff here as well. So everything is very slow. It's slow moving. So you're going through a process of slow change. But slow change is good. Got him. Guiomar, shove it down the road. Where would you like to go?
Okay, so Lisa, she's your sun in Capricorn, like us. The
Yeah,
conjunction
way to go.
Neptune. So that Sun Neptune conjunction with the Pisces moon. So, and
Oh,
you're
that's
Pisces rising.
yeah.
Yeah,
Pisces rising, Pisces rising. It's lovely energy. That is. I like that. Even though other
yeah.
people don't quite understand Pisces rising people, I understand myself. I understand them completely. Sometimes.
Sometimes. And then the North Node is in Taurus, which means South Node is in Scorpio. So a lot about this chart is to begin with, it's like trying to fit in to other people's views or to jobs and how other people do things and so forth. So it's like really making an effort to belong, and at the same time with that Lilith in Aries, probably boycotting yourself, even though you don't want to, like you want to do things the right way, but there's a part of you that says I can't take it, and so there's a struggle inside in that sense. And it's a lot about letting go the dependency on others, where it be a partner, where it be in a job situation or in your profession. And Neptune in Capricorn, especially with the sun, it's a lot about finding your true mission in life. And
Yes.
once you find it, but there's a Uranus and Mercury and Sagittarius that can have a lot of good ideas, but it's what we were talking about before. Then you have to bring that down, or the moon in Pisces, go, yeah, I got it. I understand. I see the vision, but it's not happening. Why not? And so, well, you got to materialize it. You got to bring
Yep.
it down, North Node in Taurus. You got
Yep.
to make it real. And that's difficult. And you got to communicate it, and you got to get help to make it real. So it's a lot about really connecting with the emotional part to heal that side of you, so you can connect more to people, so you can find collaborators that can help you make your vision real.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a big thing, because otherwise we're always doing things for other people. We're not doing things for ourselves. And it's interesting here because your cards here saying, yes, they do bring out a little bit of stress here and there. But once you've got the Three of Hearts, the Three of Hearts, I love this card because it is, yes, it's about happiness, but sometimes we get focused on temporary happiness rather than things which are more permanent. And you've also got another card here as well, which is just showing a little bit of around you at the moment. Sometimes just be careful of money. And also, I know we could all say that at the present time, but it's being aware of money and things that stress you. Maybe it's a looking, rather than looking at the weeds, look for flowers, I would say, with this. And yes, and it's sometimes here, I love this card. It's a ten of spades, but it's about letting go of the past. It's about letting go, like not holding on to, oh, those days and things like this and the old times, you want those back. No, it's actually about feeling here, thinking it's an odd one, but it's like the ship needing to let go of the port to travel to different lands. It needs to let go. It needs to let go of the ropes and let go of the harbour.
And that includes to let go of grudges.
Mm, grudges. Yes, we've got grudges. Grudges and
Like
grudges.
being
Grudges.
more forgiving or understanding of, people who might have done you wrong in the past, because nobody really does us wrong. It's we that have expectations on other people, um, and they can't comply to what we expect. And often we expect things that we don't even know we expect, which is more confusing.
Yeah, I love this morning's philosophies. I think that's a very nice way of actually interpreting that. That we think people are bad, but it's just their interpretation of what they're saying. It conflicts with us. Yes, we think it does because we expectations. That's a big thing. Expectations. Yeah. Okay, brilliant, brilliant. Right, we're now going to move on to another lovely ladies one. We're going to go and pop down the road and have a word with this lovely lady called Venetia Colton. And she wrote in, and I'm just getting her details here. She is, yeah, she said she's just, oh, come on, that's it. Just down at end of life care interpreting for a deaf blind man, which we thought was excellent earlier on. Right, okay, so you've got the colour yellow, you like a general reading, and your numerology in your life path is a number 3. And life path 3s I always find a very, it's a little bit similar to the earlier reading, but that was part of the 3 that made up the 9. But yours is a definite 3. It's a 303. So the 3 is finding the people who make sense to you in your life. And it's not about you having to think that they're better than you. No, it's about people who make sense to you. So it may be you're coming from a dimension which has been very different to other people, and they're thinking, why am I not getting on with people? Maybe it's me. No, it's about people who connect with you. And also hear what the purpose is of that particular dimension, what it is with people you're wishing to grow, understand, and work with. In a previous lifetime, you were working or had a spiritual belief. In this lifetime, you're being asked to use it. And you're in a personal year 1. What a great time to bring organization into your life, especially this year, using these spiritual skills of yours, helping people, growing with people, because this is awesome energy. 3s have a spiritual gift, but they didn't do something with it in a previous life. You've been asked to do it in this life. And your 0, your karmic 0, is about how you're going to do this. So hopefully that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah, so Venetia is also a sun conjunct Neptune. So we got the theme.
Oh, we've got the theme straight away already. We're like, we are there in the Zen.
So Sun Neptune is somebody who's very connected with the ethers, and especially if it's in a water sign like Scorpio. So very sensitive, very psychic too.
Yeah,
Especially it's conjunct Mercury in Sagittarius, so the mind can go out there very quickly.
lovely,
Plus,
lovely.
Lilith is like all over the place. Lilith is in Cancer, and it's with Pluto, Jupiter, Neptune, Sun, Mercury, Chiron,
The
the
whole
Moon.
works.
That's a lot of Lilith. That's a
Yes.
lot of Lilith is the language of the soul. So it's information. It's like it's what the soul wants to express in this world in a collective way. But in your case, that there's a lot coming in from that collective. So which in a way that you're very sensitive, but you can switch that, like you can switch the energies around. You can swirl them around, so to say, no?
Yeah.
And but it's crucial, North Node in Pisces, that you learn not to control, that you learn to trust that there's a plan, there's a divine plan, and just go with that divine plan. Because it's very easy for you to to get like too much in control of things, and then the gifts don't work.
I think it's lovely. It's lovely, and it's um, yeah. I totally relate and understand to that, because a lot of in my life, as I relate to Venetia, there, I totally get it. There's sometimes, yes, you got a plan, but there's a higher order coming in, and you're working on that rather than working on consciously. You're working more spiritually, and it's a beautiful, beautiful. Um,
Mm.
right. Okay, so let's have a little look here. Let's have a little look. Right, I am just shuffling the cards for me. Just finished. I'm now shuffling for you, my dear, and I'm going to cut these into 3 piles. Right, I'll go for the left. And the left here is saying around you. Right. Let go. I love these cards here. These are beautiful cards I got. 8 of Hearts, which is reversed, but it's about saying let go of emotional pasts. Let go of emotional pasts here, and it's interesting here. Although this is a nude woman in here, it's about when you're down to your core. It's about being able to say, "This is me, and I love myself. I love myself, and I understand myself." Especially being clubs here, and you're above your problems. You're not below them, above the issues around you. Yes, move on. It's about taking initiatives, moving on. It's just hand that up there. Yeah, here you go. It's about taking initiatives and move on. It's the 3 of clubs. So these energies, it's interesting here how this works. And one of the things I like to say here, as we're in the last sort of few minutes of the show, 5 minutes of the show, what I really find interesting, if your soul was free, how would it express itself? How would it express itself if your soul was
Mm.
totally free of the restrictions you got around you now? To everybody out there, if your soul was free, how would it express itself? What would you do? How would it be? And because sometimes we're all too, oh, no, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, why can't you?
Yeah, but the thing is, we weren't free before. So people think that we were free before being in lockdown, but it's not true. We were
No.
totally we were total slaves of our mental patterns and our society. So what if your soul was free? It means if you were free of your mental patterns, if you were free of your beliefs, like I can't do this, I can't do that, a woman must be this way, a man must be that way. If we were free of all those beliefs, if we were free of our social conditioning, if which doesn't mean not having to pay taxes, it means not believing in that there's an authority out there that is conditioning you.
Mm. That's the bit. So if your soul was free away from that conditioning, how would it express itself? What would you do? How would you be? How would it be? What would it look like? How would you feel? And what can you do with that? Because I was listening to a guy, and I'll see if I can his photograph. Actually, I can bring it up on the screen. And very, very interesting man. I'm quite happy to just chat about this for a couple of minutes. And because he was a guy who he was in the Second World War, and I've just got his picture there. Just bring up over there. There it is. It'll drop on the screen in a minute. And some of you who have been around a little while may recognise this guy. And just yes, it's come up on the screen. Just looking for where it went. But I'll show you because it's a very, very interesting. Here he is. Here he is. Do any of you recognise this guy? Do any of you recognise him?
Jack Nicholson.
Well, no, it's not Jack Nicholson. It was a photographer who just took a photograph of this soldier, and his face was all over America, and everything about the Second World War. His face was used in all magazines, Time magazine, everything like this. Every magazine you could just about think of, which resonated with World War II, the soldiers. His photograph went everywhere. He's not a famous man. Well, actually, he wasn't a famous man at the time, but he met President Clinton. He and his son met President Clinton. His son, I did a reading for the other day, and
Oh,
he was actually saying here. He says here that his father was a very famous man, and that his father, this guy here, taught him to be a very free soul, and he's a free soul, but his soul is so big he finds it very difficult to be in relationships, for example, because women try to control him. And of course, that won't work because he's a powerful soul. Women are like, wow, what an awesome man. But he's got such a big heart. He wants to help. He wants to give. He wants to write stories. He's got a very nice lady who's working around now to write his life story about his father and him. And that he will publish it. But the big thing about it here, his theme is peace. And
Nice. Yeah, the look
it's
of
a
it,
beautiful man.
the
Really
look of
lovely man.
what the son, you mean?
Yeah, the son. Yeah, the son.
Yeah. I mean the father, the look in the eyes, it's like, why are you taking me there? Why do I have
Yes.
to go there? And then the cigarette, and it's like, I don't want to be there, it's like, what the fuck, And
Yes.
then the cigarette is like, yeah, but I'm cool if I do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a very good picture of incoherence.
Incoherence,
It's
but
like,
that face was used everywhere. He became a famous man because of that. You can even see there. Smith Times of Life pictures, Getty Images, and it went absolutely everywhere. You look at a lot of magazines about the Second World War, and you type in soldiers World War Two. His image will come up. But he met so many. His father did, and his son, who I read for, is in his 60s now. Said how much he's met people, really in tune with people, has amazing soul where he can read people very, very fast, and had a superb conversation with him to the point here that I'll be in contact with him again soon, just have a coffee chat because he's awesome man. And it's lovely to read people, but that's a soul. That's a soul that just says here, I want to express freedom and love and compassion. But he says here, but women are a nightmare. Well, he's probably a nightmare. Yeah, because they want to control him, and he's saying no. He's saying no, and he just moves on. But he cries every day. He says, every day I cry. I was okay. Okay, but he cries with love. He cries with compassion. He says he loves everything about his life, but he still cries. So okay, this is a pretty nice guy. But there we go. So guys, if your soul was free, what would you do? How would you be? Lovely. So, anything else you want to say?
no, crying is a way, not crying as in shedding tears, not as in bawling, is a way of releasing the past.
Yes. Yes, I think that's what this guy's doing. He releases his past quite a lot, as he says here, and I think that we can all go out there and get sad, but sometimes we don't know how to cry. It's not just men, believe it or not, ladies. It's also women. So there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for a lovely show. Lovely to see you again.
Thank
And
you.
thank you everyone out there for joining us. Thank you very much to the producer. I do apologise to the internet today because it went a bit wonky woo, but that's Mercury Retrograde, and we love Mercury Retrograde. So there you go. And Deborah says there, she says regarding Sarah Eltringham came on, she said, hey, how do I submit my details? What you need to do is for a reading, we need your date of birth for an astrology reading, a colour for Phil, as he's a spiritual aura medium, and one question. So there you go. So for next Wednesday, we could do it. Unfortunately, it's a little bit on the late side. But yes. Okay, guys, have a terrific day. Be awesome, be good, and be awkward. Be awkward. Let the world know you're there. Splash around a little bit. Jump around a little bit. Make some noise. Some noise. Guiomar says yes. Bring out your wild side. To bring out your soul. That's what I say here. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. So meantime, guys, have a lovely, lovely week. I'm back on Friday. On Friday here, I'm back with Joe Jaminja Javuna Das. That's it. I can say it off one like that. Joe
You
Jaminja.
can say his name and you can't say my name?
Yeah, Guiomar Ramirez-Montesinos.
Okay.
Go on then, you say it.
Guiomar Ramirez-Montesinos.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I did it the Spanglish way. Okay. Adios, and see you very soon. Okay.
Bye.
Big hearts and burgers. They're the best. They're the best. Okay. Take care, guys. See you very soon, and have an awesome time. Bye-bye.
Bye.